Welcome to Collecting Chaos. I really don't. This is a sticker I found in some of my stuff. It was in with some old Marvel stock updates. And I never owned the Marvel stock. I don't know how I ended up with them. But this was in there, and it says, I belong to the Merry Marvel Marching Society, which if you've ever seen the cartoons from the 60s, they had something called the Merry Marvel Marching Society, and there was a whole little song and everything. And no, I'm not going to sing it, and don't ask me to. Just thought that was kind of cool, and that I'd start my video with it. I'm going to do something today I haven't done before. I pulled out a short box of comics, took them all out of bags and boards, and normally I only show 30. I'm going to go through the whole box. Why am I going to do this, and why am I not limiting it to 30? Well, I ran out of my lights again, and I have them on order. So I figured, well, what the heck? I might as well just do that. But before I hit the intro, and before we actually start showing these comics, I thought I'd show you something kind of cool. I refound this. I've had it for years. I'm going to zoom in on it. Now it's missing the front cover, but this is from the Castle's National Library. It's number 119. These were published between 1886 and 1889. So this is like 130 years old. And this, like I said, this is number 19. It's Coriolanus by William Shakespeare. And they did this kind of precedes the modern paperback books. And they did a lot of, I mean, like I said, there was like 120, 130 of them. Kind of cool. I thought I might share that with you. It's in really rough shape. It's missing the cover, but yeah, I like it anyway. And I think they were like a quarter, and a quarter in the 1880s was a tremendous amount of money. Here it shows 123 listed, and they were 25 cents per volume. There's an advertisement right there of it. We'll start with New England Gothic, 2nd edition. This is actually number 2. It's not the second printing, it's just number 2. And it's kind of interesting. I didn't read very much of it. This is by Visigoth Studios, and it was published in 1987. And we'll go to New Force number 3 from Image Comics. Let me work on the focus a little bit. And this is March of 1996. Not too bad art. It's Todd Nauck and Robert Lacko. I spent most of the morning prepping for this by removing all the comics from their bags. Some of those bags were really old. It's from April of 1996, New Force number 4. New Man number 2. February 1996. Michael Lin Chang and Eric Cannon did the art. New Men number 4. This was from July of 1994. Liefeld created it, but Jeff Matsuda did the penciling, and Jonathan Sybil did the inks. New Men number 6. Matsuda cover, which isn't a surprise. New Men number 7. There's another copy of number 7. And then we skip to number 18 from September 1995, and I have 2 copies of that. New Men number 19, or no, excuse me, number 20, and this is part of the Babe Watch series, and basically what happens is all the guys turn into girls, I think. Kind of a weird story arc. It went through a lot of Image comics. Here is from Tammy Comics, the New Power Stars number 1. This is Blue Comet. Volume 2 number 1. And it's from 1989. Black and white, independent. And most of these comics, matter of fact, all of these comics are independents, unless you count the few I have in here from Dark Horse. Here's the New Shadowhawk, number 1. And of course, Kurt Busiek wrote it. There's a couple of copies of number 2. August 1995. Number 4. Number 5. And number 6. From Eclipse Comics, we have New Wave number 1. And this was published in June 10th, 1986. Lee Weeks and Ty Templeton. Weeks did the pencils, Ty Templeton did the inks. And I have 2 copies of that. Both in pretty nice shape. Nothing spectacular, but you know. And here's number 2. July 8th, 1986. Same art team. There's 2 copies of that. Two copies of number 4. August 5th, 1986. Number 6. I have 3 copies of number 7. And this one was marked out. That means it was a discount. I probably bought it for like 10 or 15 cents. Number 8, Return of the Heap. September 30th, 1986. And the Heap is the original swamp creature. Predates Swamp Thing, predates Man-Thing. Here's number 9. This is when they went monthly. It's from October 1986. I do like the artwork in these. This is Carl Waller did the pencils. Ty Templeton, of course, still did the inks. And here's number 11 from December 1986. And we're back to Lee Winks as the penciler and Sam De La Rosa as the inker. Also from Eclipse Comics, we have New York Year Zero, number 1. And this is August 1988. Black and white. Nothing wrong with black and white comics. And Australia, number 1. This is from Innovation and July 1989. These were fun reads. Here's Australia, number 2. October 1989, and this time, and of course it's in color. Innovation did some kind of neat stuff back in the day. Australia, number 3. From Comico, we have Next Man, number 1. This is from 1985. And then Next Man, number 4. Yeah, I got 2 copies of that. A lot of this stuff I bought in lots. Bought a massive number of comics and got a whole bunch of stuff. Some of the stuff I bought out of quarter bins, dollar bins, whatever. Here's Nexus number 13. Mike Barron and Steve Rude really put together a great run on these. Nexus number 15. Like Steve Rude's art, he was really good. Nexus 25. This is from October 1986. Nexus 28, 32, 36, 41, and as you can see, these are from First. I think all of them were from First Comics. Yeah. Nexus 48, 49, 50, and this was square bound. This wasn't just square bound though. I believe this was actually perfect bound. Yes, it was. You cannot see the staples on the inside. It's actually glued together the same way they would a paperback book. And the way they do comics now. They didn't do them that way back then. Here's number 52 from January 1989. And number 54. Number 55. Or 56. And I have 2 copies of that. Number 58. 59. And 60. Here's 61, 62, 64, and 67. This is Nexus Legends number 10. And this is from February 1990. A little bit rough shape, but still a nice copy. Nexus the Liberator number 1, and this is when they switched over to Dark Horse. And this was August 1992. Nightmare in Blue number 1, and it's got some problems up here. As you can see, that's the way it was shipped. Here's number 3, number 4, and I bought this out of a quarter box. Nexus, The Wages of Sin, number 1. March 1995, and number 3. I wouldn't mind getting a whole run of Nexus someday. I'm not too concerned with it though. Here's Nikki Shadow from Relentless Comics. This is number 0 from July 1997, and it's okay. Okay art. I've never read it. One of those ones I got from my store and it didn't sell too well. Night Cry number 4. I used to sell a ton of these. This is from 1995. I think this is the only Night Cry I have left, and I used to have stacks and stacks of these. I used to get like 20 or 30 copies a month, and they would always sell. The Nightman, number 18. It's from Ultraverse, Malibu Comics. And this is from March of 1995. This is before Marvel bought the Malibu. Here's the painted cover of number 1. This is 1 of 4. And the painted cover variant was 1 in 5, and I'm going to explain that to you in just a second. This is how they were shipped. You got a painted cover, just this one, and 4 of the regular cover. Or was it? No, you got 5 of the regular cover, 1 a painted cover. So 1 out of 6. It's a 1 out of 6 variant. And I've got 2 of them still in the original packaging because I never needed to open them. Which isn't bad because I think I originally had like 4 or 5 of these. And from Chaos Comics, I have Nightmare Theater number 3, and this one took some water damage. But it's Chaos Comics, so you know, in general, it's pretty good stuff. Nightman and Gambit number 1. All the X-Men people just went, ooh. This is from March of 1996. Alex Nino's Nightmare number 1. This is from Innovation. And it was published in December 1989. And talk about some trippy artwork. But I like Alex Nino. I think he's kind of cool. I think this is worth picking up. Is it going to be worth a fortune? Is it going to put your kids through college? No, but it's kind of neat to have. Here is another copy of number 3 in much better shape of the Nightmare Theater. This was from November 1997. There's another copy. And here's number 4. And I have 2 copies of that. Back to Innovation. Here's Nightmares on Elm Street number 2. This is from November 1991. From Arrow Comics, Night Streets. This is another black and white. July 1986. Not sure who did the art on that. And here's Night Streets number 2. From Archie Comics, the Archie Adventure Street. Here is Nights into Dreams number 1. And it had a Mad Style fold-in advertisement for Kit Kat. And here's number 3. I have a couple of copies of that. From AC, here's Night Vale number 2. And this is from... They don't have the... Oh, there it is, 1985. Mark Heike, or Hike, and Bill Anderson. Night Vision, All About Eve. This is from London Night. Another black and white, and this is from 1996, I believe. Image Top Cow, 9 volt, number 3. And this is from September 1997. From Slave Labor Graphics, here's No Hope, number 6. This was published September 1994. These guys used to stop in my store once in a while. Some of the Slave Labor Graphics people would stop in there once in a while. From Ryle Comics, Nova Hunter number 2, and this is from 1994. A very old Eternity Comics. This is Ninja Funnies number 1. From 1987, and again, I got this out of a quarter box, I'm sure. And I got 2 copies of it. Ninjak number 1 from Valiant Comics. This is Acclaim Valiant. So this is probably the second volume of Ninjak. This is from March 1997. And here's the variant cover for that. And here's Ninjak number 2. Number 3. And number 8. And number 8 was published October 1997. Also from Valiant, from June of 1991, the Nintendo Comic System featuring Super Mario Brothers, number 5. And I also have number 8. See, Valiant was around before Valiant Comics, or before the advent of their heroes. Here's Nera X Cyber Angel number 1 by Bill Mouse. This was December 1994. And here's number 2. And Series 2, number 3. I don't know if this was part of the same story or not. I could read them and find out, I guess. September 1995, Series 2, so no, it isn't. It's a separate story. Here's Series 3, number 1. This is from 1995. And there was also a Nera X Cyber Angel action figure. I'll show it to you someday. I've got a couple of them laying around somewhere. This is number 4. This is from the first series. Then from Bravuro, which was a Malibu imprint, here's Norm Breyfogle, Metaphysique, number 1. And this was from April of 1995. If you're not familiar with Breyfogle's art, You should be. It's really good. And here is, not bifocal, Brereton. What? Yeah, that was bifocal. And here's Dan Brereton. I like his art also. This is the Nocturnals trade paperback, which collects his Malibu series of Nocturnals 1 through 6. Black Planet. And this was put out by Oni Press. Really, really like his artwork. I think he did a little bit of stuff for DC at one point also. Here's a copy of Oblivion #1. This is from Comico. August 1995. And then they did #2, which I have a few of. Just, you know, a couple. That didn't sell very well. The first issue sold pretty good. The second issue didn't sell at all. I still have all the copies that I ever bought. That was my back issue price, $2.95. Cover price, $2.95. And it came with a card for some game. Chrysalis. I think I got both of the variant cards. Yeah. Here's an official index from ICG for the Doom Patrol. This is part 1. I never got part 2. I wouldn't mind having part 2. And it just gives, you know, a rough synopsis of the different things. If you want to know how to find key issues of Silver Age DC Comics, try to track these down, these ICG indexes, because it goes through a lot of stuff. Let's say Doom Patrol #80. My Greatest Adventure #80 with the Doom Patrol. Villain, General Immortus. First appearance, chronologically earlier appearance in flashback in Doom Patrol #88. An immortal criminal mastermind appears next in My Greatest Adventure #84, and his 2 henchmen, first and only appearance to date. Definitely worth tracking these down if you can find them. Here's official Justice League Index #6. Justice League of America 177, April 1980. Artist Rich Buckler for the cover and Dick Giordano. Feature characters Aquaman, Green Arrow, Atom, Black Canary, and Zatanna. John Jones, last seen in World's Finest Comics #240. Villains, Despero, last seen issue #134. A crew of dolphin poachers, a gang of kidnappers, a biker gang, and a pair of plane hijackers, first and only appearance to date. Some transformed into giant chess pieces in this story. So, yeah, those are fun. And here's the official Teen Titans Index, part 1 of 5. And I have 2 copies. And here's #2, and I have 2 copies. And #3, and I have 2 copies. And these were published right around the middle of the 80s, so 1985 about. And here's #4. I only have 1 copy of this. And this was for the new Teen Titans. A lot of good information in those indexes. And here's #5. So I have all of the ones for Teen Titans. I guess that means I need to collect them, right? Nah. I'll buy a few Titans when I see them and I can get them at a good price, but I'm not going to go out and try to collect them all. Of Myths and Men, number 2, from Blackthorn Publishing. So it's from March 1987. Here's Oh My Goth, number 1, from Serious Dogstar Press. It's from 1998. And you know what? It's kind of bizarre, but I really like this artwork. And I have 2 copies of that. Here's Omen. This is Slave Labor Graphics. This is number 3. I think it was Slave Labor Graphics. Nope, North Star Publishing. It's from 1989. Tim Vigil did the artwork. And here's a copy of the Omen number 1. And a copy of the Omen number 1. And a copy of the Omen number 1. See, multiple covers are not new in the Omen number 1. And the Omen number 1. 5 different covers for the Omen number 1, printed by Chaos Comics. So multiple covers is not something that just started. And this was from (1998). 22 years ago. So don't tell me that multiple covers are what's killing the industry today, because they were doing it back in the 90s also. Multiple covers have actually appeared since the 80s on a regular basis. This is number 3, the Omen number 3. Here's the Omen number 4, and I have 2 copies of that. I've never read it because I've never had number 2. And here's number 5. I would like to read it. I have to track down a copy of number 2, or number 2 one day. Here's the Omen Save the Chosen preview. This was published in 1997. And I have 3 copies. Here's the Omen Vexed, number 1, October 1996. And look who it is, Evil Ernie. So it definitely has an Evil Ernie appearance in it. I believe that's 98, not 96. From Innovation, here's On a Pale Horse, number 2. And this was a 6-book miniseries, of which I only got 2 of them, number 2 and number 3. Always wanted the rest of them, never could find them. Never really looked hard for them either. It's a copy of Oni Double Feature, number 6, and this had took some water damage. Probably when we had that flood a number of years back. Not all the comics in a box got water damage, but some of them did. And here's a couple of copies of number 7. And this is number 9. And number 10. and number 11. There's 2 copies of it. Here's Open Season, number 5. December 1987. Couple of copies of Optic Nerve number 1 from April in 1995. Here's a copy of Oriental Heroes from Jade Man Comics number 13. And this was published back in 1989. A couple more copies of Omen Vexed, number 1, but these are still in the bag for some reason. I guess I got lazy. And that's it. That's what I had in that box. Actually, there's a couple more comics in it, but they're adult comics, and I'm not going to show them. And that's it for this video. Hopefully you saw a few things you've never seen before, or maybe some things that you have seen, but it's been a really long time. Maybe you had forgotten about something that you saw that you had intended to collect, but had forgotten about it. In any case, this is a really long video. It's going to be roughly about an hour long. Probably take me about 6 months to upload it. It takes a while when all you have is a slow connection. I mean, it's not that slow, but I don't have cable here, so yeah. Don't forget, wash your hands before you handle your comics. It's good for your comics. It's good for your health. And we'll see you next video. Bye.